Do it, disconnect and go.
Is it the service? I can't hear you now.
All right. Sorry
All
about
right.
that. Take two.
No, you're good, man. You're good. So yeah, we can just hop into it. So like I said, this is just an informational interview assignment I have
Nice, man.
for potential job seekers, seek advice on the career, industry, and
Yeah,
culture,
man.
potential future workplace. Actually, right now I'm working at the ice rink part time, and I saw Austin Bailey today. He said
Oh,
he's been
really?
trying to go up with you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've been so he's supposed to go up with me tomorrow morning as well. And we just had to cancel that one too. Like, so I've been trying to get Bailey up in there because he's interested in getting his private
Yeah.
pilot's license and just
He's
going
been
through
telling
all
me
the
about
ratings
that.
and everything like that. Um, we've had two flights that I've already had to cancel, and then I just had to cancel tomorrow morning as well because it's supposed to be super cloudy. And
Yeah.
which I told him I was like, I can take you up in the air if you want. Like, I'll take you, I'll take you through the clouds if you want, but you're not going to see anything. It's just going to be water hitting the, hitting the windscreen.
Yeah.
That's not going to be any fun at all. So, but yeah, now I'm trying to get him up in the air. So you said you're working on your private pilot's lessons?
Yeah. So hold on. Give me 1 second. Please don't disconnect me. All
Oh,
right, you
there we
got me
go.
now. No, all right, I'm gonna
Uh,
lose him. All right, we're good now. But yeah, all right. So
okay. How
to
much
get
of that did you get?
I got you. I heard you say I'm working on my private license.
Yeah, yeah. So you're working on your private license?
Yeah, so I'm out at I'm doing it at the Raleigh Flying Club right now.
Oh,
They're
nice.
out at
Okay,
the
yeah, absolutely.
Signature FBO, and then I have to do like an internship this summer. Work,
Nice.
get some money for school, and then I'll go. They have a professional flight school, and I'm gonna transition into that.
Yeah.
Put my
Yeah,
hours in.
Raleigh, it's Raleigh Pro Flight, right?
Yeah, Raleigh Pro Flight.
I did my comm multi there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, I did it in the Baron, which
They're
the one that's
selling
no,
it now.
well, it's the one that, yeah, it's the one that had the prop strike. That's the one that I did it in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 6037 Mike was the one that I did it in. And yeah, they had a gear up situation. I don't know if they told you about it at all or not, but
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but
yeah, no, I'm sure they're probably trying to keep it hush hush and maybe keep that one between us too. But
nah,
yeah, they it
my
wasn't
mom.
the instructor or the student's fault. Like it was literally a faulty switch in the it was in the gear, like the retractable gear, and the switch kind of felt a relief and pressure as they went full power, and it just
Yeah.
retracted all the gear before they had enough speed to take off and just grinded everything up.
Was it the nose wheel?
It was all of it. It
Oh
was
my,
the main gear that retracted on it. Seemed like
jeez,
so it just complete bellied up.
that's not
So
good.
no, not
Yeah,
at
I
all.
heard that, but it happens. I'm starting to learn that there's a lot of things that happen
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah, nah. There's a lot of things that just go on every day there. So even at our
But
school too, I'm over at Flight just across the street, so or just
okay,
across next building down. So I did all my training there, with the exception of comm multi, and now I'm an instructor over there too. So I'm a CFII over there right now.
did you know
So
Noah Masir?
yeah, yeah, I did
Okay,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know
he went down to Florida, didn't he, for a little bit?
yeah, he was there. He's flying 135 now for JSX
Yeah. So he
out in Vegas. It's pretty sweet.
yeah, that's not a bad gig at all. So he was actually a commercial student with my instructor when I was a private student.
Oh, nice.
And then our instructor Kyler, he's over at Envoy right now. So with out in
Not bad
Chicago, he's
either.
based in Chicago, but he still comes back every now and then. I'm actually seeing him tomorrow. But yeah, no, I know Noah.
All right,
So
awesome.
it's a
Well,
small world. How
it is
everyone
a
kind of
small world.
it's funny that there's a lot of hockey players doing it too. So
I know. I know.
it's
I've
pretty fun.
noticed that, especially now. I don't know what the reason
Yeah,
is, but
yeah, not sure either, but yeah, no, I'm trying to get Bailey into it too. So I've taken a few other teammates and everything up like that just to check it out. I mean, people always ask about it. It's kind of a fun thing, so people are always interested. So if you ever want to go up, if you ever want to see the flight chest side, let me know. We can go up.
all right, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well, we can get into it. We had to craft 8 questions here, so
yeah,
nothing too crazy. I'm just
yeah. I got you, man.
I'm off you. So first one here is a little about yourself. What inspired you to become a pilot, and how'd you get started in aviation?
So I got started in aviation, kind of after school. At state. Um, I worked in marketing with Live Nation, and I was pretty much working like all the concerts and everything there. And I really just wanted to travel. That's really what kind of sparked the whole idea. And I wasn't even really trying to be a pilot. I was a flight attendant for United Airlines, and I actually technically still am. I do like one
Okay.
trip a month with United Airlines every now and then. Like I'm supposed to go to Germany on Saturday.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, so and that's how it really got it. And about like 2 months into my flight attendant training, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm young enough. I feel like I can challenge myself. Let's try the pilot's license. I was more in the mindset that if I didn't try, I would have been, more mad at myself than if I would have, tried and failed. So, if I would have looked back like I was 60 and I was like, hey, maybe I should have tried to be a pilot instead of slinging Diet Cokes my whole life. Like, yeah, I would have been a little upset with myself. And so I started my training at Flight Just probably about 4 or 5 months after I became a flight attendant with United, and never really looked back since. All throughout my training, I was a full-time flight attendant, and I'd pretty much, gone every other, week. So that made training a little difficult, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, we made it through, and now we're
Yeah.
trying to, get on the other side of the flight deck door there. So
That's
that's
awesome.
how I got into the whole pilot side of things.
I didn't know that. That's a pretty cool route to take, honestly.
Yeah,
Kind of
no, it
puts you in
was,
the lifestyle.
what's that?
Kind of gets you like taste of the lifestyle.
It does, because I mean, it really is. It's the same schedule.
Yeah.
It's just you're on the other side of the door now. So, like I said, instead of slinging Diet Cokes, you're now, flying ILSs and whatnot. So,
Not bad.
no, not at all.
All right, sweet. Next question. Can you briefly touch on the process of earning your ratings and which one you found most challenging?
Um, I want to put this in the least discouraging way possible, but I will be honest with you. Getting all of my ratings was the hardest 2 years of my life. I mean,
Yeah.
truly was, just because I had so much other things going on, and on top of it, I was adding in like the probably one of the hardest things I ever did. Um, some aviation did not like. There are some people that aviation just comes naturally to them. Like they are born and bred pilots. Like they are just ready to get up and fly.
Yeah.
That was not me. Like this was a grind. Like this was something that I mean, I had to sit down and study. Like I had to watch numbers of videos just to, get fundamentals of aerodynamics down.
Yeah.
And I even the whole entire process was just a grind. I think the best way someone described it to me, they're like, aviation is just beating your head against a wall until something gets done. And I think that is like the perfect way to describe it. That being said, is like if you just have the willpower to just push through, anybody can really do it. It's not impossible. I always kind of thought I was like, oh, it's gonna be this really hard thing. It's gonna be 10 years. You got to go back to college for it. And I'm so happy I did a little bit more research into it and saying, hey, that's obviously not the case. I got all my ratings with the exception of MEI done um, in about 2 years. Yeah, just over 2 years. And the first 6 months, 5 to 6 months, I was only able to fly like 3 or 4 times a month. So it made it really, really challenging. Um, the most challenging certificate to get, I thought, was private.
Private.
And yeah, and that's just because if you're not there, like I feel if you're not there like 3 or 4 times a week, it's going to take a while because you're having to repeat a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's just like muscle memory of being able to, climb and descend and level off and, make a coordinated turn.
Yeah.
All little basic things that, I mean, I can do right now in my sleep. But at the time when I was beginning, I was maybe, flying one time and maybe the next day got canceled for weather. And then I'd have to go to work for like 2 weeks. And then I'd come back and I'd have to redo it all over again. So
Yeah.
private was definitely the most challenging. And then on top of it, the ground stuff, a lot of it didn't make any sense to me. It was all brand new. But now that I've been beating it into my head for the last, almost this summer will make 3 years now.
Yeah.
It starts to make sense now.
Starting to settle in a little
Yeah,
bit.
it started. You know what? I can tell you what a stall is now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my instructor asked me, he's like, "What's a stall?" Like my very first, not my very first day, but somewhere along the way of our first ground lesson, I was like, "Isn't that when your engine cuts out?" Obviously, it's not the case, right? So, I was thinking about like a car stalling out, and that was my
Yeah.
understanding of a stall. He's like, "No,
Awesome.
that's not at all what it is." I'm like, "All right, well, good. We're off to a hot start." So
Yeah.
that just
I
kind of
had
set the tone for what private pilot
something
was
like
like.
that too happen with the
Oh
rudder. I
yeah.
thought the rudder, like if you just press the right rudder, like it automatically adjusts. I didn't know you had to hold it.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
exactly. No, no,
straight
you're
up.
gonna get a nice calf and quad workout the entire
Oh
time.
yeah.
Have you flown a multi-engine plane yet?
No, I haven't. Never.
Wait till you do single engine operations, and if like you kill your left rudder,
Yeah.
you're gonna have so much extra thrust on the right side. It's gonna like cause you to spin to the turn to the
Okay.
left,
Yeah.
and you need to counter that with just a ton
Full
of right
rudder.
rudder. Yeah, full rudder. It's basically full rudder the opposite
Leg
direction.
day.
So it is. It's leg day, and it's every day is leg day when you're doing that because you only kill the same. You kill the same engine every single time.
Yeah.
Because if you have a critical engine, like you don't want to give yourself too much adverse yaw. So it you have to do. You're basically killing your critical engine, which if you're flying a Baron like I did for my multi-engine at Raleigh ProFlight, your left engine is your critical engine. So if you kill your left engine, you're just stomping
Yeah.
on right rudder the entire time.
Makes
So
sense.
yeah, no, a lot of different things you just learn along the way once you beat it into your head after 3 years.
Well, I guess going on off of that, what are
Yeah.
some common obstacles that you see students facing, and how do you help
Um,
them overcome these challenges?
I think one of the biggest things was for me. It was check rides. I mean, I think it's the biggest thing for anyone. I mean, that's the overall goal is just your training for the check ride itself. And I think everyone gets super nervous for these for check rides. I know I did. I was, like a shell of a person going into these things.
Yeah.
The DP would ask you like the most basic question. He's like, "Give me pave," and I'm like, and you like freeze up. And it's. I think that was the biggest thing for me. Um, I think the big one of the things that you can do going into those is just do your best to absolutely just relax. I think one of the DPs that we use at our school is Frank, and he's a super nice guy. He's very down to earth. He has this way of making sure that like, hey, calm down, you're going to be okay. Like even if you do like screw up on something, he's like, look, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. I'll see in a couple of weeks to figure it out. And he always makes it seem like it's not that big of a deal. And
That's
when
good.
hindsight, if you do screw up, everyone screws up. That's why you're doing it on this test. You're identifying what you might screw up on in the air. So that way you screw up on a test, you can solve it. If you screw up in the air in real life, hey, that might be a completely different story.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the big thing is just I think check ride. At least for me, it was check rides, and I think a lot of other students get super nervous for them. Or on the contrary, some students just go in there like into check rides, and they think they're, for lack of a better word, they think they're hot shit, and they're gonna go in there and absolutely crush it. And they go in there, and the DPE humbles them really quickly, and they're
yeah,
that. So um, but yeah, check rides are what everyone goes for anyway. That's the goal. That's the final test. It's like taking a
yeah.
final in one of your classes. So,
All right. Next question here. What does a typical day look like for you as a flight instructor?
um, so I guess my schedule is a little different. As a flight instructor, I've got to, like, right now I'm already checking the weather for tomorrow. That's the big thing is how you've got many different students. Right now, I've got about 15 different students, and
Oh
they're all
wow.
at different stages throughout their training. I've got a couple that are in commercial, I've got a couple that are doing instrument training, and I've got a couple that are doing, like, one of my students, she's day three private pilot. So she's still working on, like, steep turns, holding the
Yeah.
plane level. I tell her to just turn to 090 heading, and she's just working on getting there and maybe rolling out okay. So I'm already kind of like constantly just trying to plan lessons. The big thing is always looking at weather. Like right now, if you've been paying attention, I'm not sure. When was the last time you flew?
Flew last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. So like you've noticed that the weather's like pretty crappy recently. It's been pretty
This week
windy.
it's been really
It's
bad.
been brutal. It's been super gusty. And tomorrow is no different. Tomorrow is IFR and marginal in the morning. So like I've got a student who's supposed to do like what's called a stage one check.
Yeah.
He's doing his very first, kind of like test with a different instructor tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's already getting canceled because he's going to go up and try and do stalls and steep turns and IFR. Yeah, it's probably not going
Yeah.
to work.
Not
So
happening.
yeah, so basically, the big thing is always planning, and the next is knowing where your students are in their training. Always come in there with an idea of what you're going to do that day. Don't the big thing for me was my one of my instructors would always come in and be like, "What are we doing today?" And it was almost like he didn't know. So
Yeah.
I will always ask my students, like, "What do you want to work on today?" And then I will always have kind of like a plan of like, "Hey, this is what at least needs to be accomplished." So
That's good. Okay.
yeah, just constantly doing that. Right now, typically I like to, and I did it throughout my entire training. I like to do the early morning flights. I like to do the 7 a.m. flights. Um, and right now my schedule is very, very full. So I do pretty much 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I do about 4 flights a day.
Okay.
And yeah, it is. It
Act.
it's tough to move things around. When, let's say, someone gets canceled for weather, it's tough to move them around to try and get them back on a schedule later on because it's for the next 2 weeks. I'm going 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is a good problem to have. I'm building hours and I'm
Getting
building
those
time
hours.
towards
Yeah.
1500. So I'm not complaining in any aspect. Like I said, it's just a good problem to have, but it gets tiring after a little bit. Some days you're like, oh, I hope I get bad weather today. I need a break.
Yeah.
So
I don't doubt that at all.
like tomorrow, I
Especially
get
if
to
it's
sleep in
hot.
for at least a couple hours because the first flight got canceled. So, but
That's nice.
yeah, yeah, no, it always stays pretty busy.
All right. Next year, what are some key skills or habits that aspiring pilots should develop early?
Uh, Key skills and habits. I'd say absolutely attention to detail is got to be the first one. Um, Definitely just the willpower to push through. Being able to persevere. You're going to get a lot of it's going to be a grind. It absolutely no one's going to come in, and I very rarely maybe get like 1% or even a half a percent of people that just come through training like, oh, this was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Everybody else will tell you it was a grind. So if you give up on something when things get hard, this is not going to be for you. It's something that if it's something that you want, absolutely you have to go after, and you're gonna have to push through it. So I'd say, yeah, just the attention to detail and perseverance. If you're a good studier, that always helps.
Yeah.
Try to not blow things off to the last minute. Definitely don't procrastinate when you study. That's what I did. That's what I did when I was at state too, which never really helped either. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
That's
I would
kind of
say,
what
yeah.
I'm seeing with that. 'Cause I stayed too, like, I mean, some of the classes are like whatever, but I genuinely enjoy studying aviation.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, yeah, no, when I was at state, it'd be like, all right, I've got a test coming up. I just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm usually like, oh, I'll just wake up early tomorrow morning and do it. It's like
Crank it
an
out.
hour before my test. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, let's figure this out. But aviation, it came a little bit, as far as studying goes, it was a little bit easier because I did have a genuine interest in it. But also, I think I was at a different age too. I
Yeah.
started it when I was, about 27. So I was a little different than when I was at state, and maybe we were going out all night, and I didn't want to study the next morning or the next day for something.
Yeah.
A little different when you're 21 years
Yeah.
old.
Definitely can relate to that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I'm sure.
uh here, are there any specific networking opportunities, organizations, or resources that you would recommend for someone looking to advance their aviation career?
Um, I actually just went to one today. So I went down to Sun and Fun, which is like one of the aviation expos.
Okay.
They have these marketing like these pilot networking events and career fairs. Get into those as quickly as you possibly can because I actually was very fortunate, but I think I got a few interviews at least lined up
Nice.
just for some stuff in the future. Um, how many hours are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm at 25.
It's never too early to start looking at what the ultimate picture is going to be. Like, start,
Yeah.
obviously, once you get to 1,500, you're going to be looking at regionals. If you can get your name in with regionals, they offer all these cadet programs. If you
I've
can
seen
start,
those.
yeah, start sending out. I mean, if you take a look at the American Airlines one, the American Airlines cadet program, because they won't take you. Um, if you're at like over, I think it's like if you're over like a commercial pilot's license, they're not going to even look at you. They want
Oh,
you like pretty early on. But that being said, there are some other. How someone just told me too was like the way into the regionals right now is to be a part of those cadet programs. Just because the industry is just kind of saturated with pilots right now, and it's supposed to change in 2025. I think that's one big thing that I've noticed since being in aviation in 20 when I started in 2021.
yeah.
The hiring just it goes up and it goes down. It's like every year. Like last year was an awful year for hiring. 2024 was miserable.
Yeah.
2023 was probably one of the best years they've ever seen. And they're kind of expecting that 2025 kind of comes back. Maybe not to the level that 2023 was, but 2025 is at least supposed to be better than 2024. So it's a roller coaster of hiring and demand. I mean, but I talked to like these older pilots, and like it's always been like that because you
Yeah.
had things like 9/11 happen, and then obviously the entire industry is laid off, and then you get things like just economy recessions and everything like that, where the airlines aren't hiring as much right now because they don't have as much cash on hand. Then obviously the economy turns around again, and here they are starting to hire again because they think demand is going up. So it really is just a big roller coaster of hiring there.
Well, that
But
completely.
all the organizations and everything that you can do, depending on if you become a flight instructor, like
Yeah, that's a good
national,
plan.
yeah, like NAFI, and then like AOPA, all of those pilot organizations are all really good resources to use. But I'd say if there's any networking event or any sort of event that you can go to, try to go to Oshkosh, which is that Air
Yeah.
Venture. That's a
Up in
that's a
Wisconsin,
really
right?
big one. Yep, that one's up in Wisconsin. I mean, Sun and Fun was really cool. I mean, I only flew down there just for the day. Like I left at like 5 a.m. this morning to go down there, talk to a bunch of people on the next flight back to Raleigh. So absolutely. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you
Great.
gonna say?
No, I was saying you completely answered my next question too. How do you see the job markets for pilots evolving in the next few years?
It changes. So like don't get discouraged because you're like, oh, maybe like Frontier was all the instructors in 2023 at Flight Just, like all of my instructors,
Yeah.
I have four of them actually. All of them were Frontier cadets.
Yeah. I saw
Two of them are on the line. Yeah,
they paid you like
two of
through
them are.
training.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They gave you like a training bonus and everything. So a lot of people got on that train. And two of my instructors are on the line right now for Frontier.
Wow.
So, and then actually one of the instructors that is currently at Flight Jest, he leaves in June because he just got his class date. Um, but I just went and talked to Frontier at the networking expo this morning, and they're like, our cadet program's closed right now, and they've got too many pilots, so
Yeah.
they not too many, but they've just got such a huge pipeline right now. They don't need people, but as soon as they start bringing in more planes, and I don't know, say for instance, Spirit merges with them or something like that. Well, guess what they're going to need? They're going to need a bunch of pilots when they get all those planes.
Yeah.
So
I've heard about that. They might merge
yeah,
together.
exactly. And then
So they're
JetBlue's even talking about merging with like Southwest or something like that. Like there's always these rumors that are always going to make these hiring demands. They're always going to need pilots. It's just because obviously the age is 65 for the mandatory retirement for airline pilots.
yeah.
Um, that being said, you're always going to need pilots. It just depends on how much are coming in at a time. Are the class dates, are the classes 25 people or are they 75 people? Just depends.
Sweet. All right. Let's see here. All right. Coming down to the last question, just kind of wrapping everything up. If
Yeah.
you could give, and you've probably kind of already said this before, if you could give one piece of advice to someone pursuing, or me, pursuing a career as a pilot, what would it be?
Don't give up. There's going to be days where you have that are just awful flights. I mean, I remember getting out of, one of the big things that I was always pretty hard on myself. I would mess up. My instructor wouldn't even have to say anything to me. I knew I messed something up. Like, let's say I had a steep turn and I ended up like, 300 feet low or something like outrageous like that. He wouldn't even have to say anything. I'm like, nope, I know. Just getting down. Like, if I did that a few times, like, I would almost like shut down the rest of the flight. I'd just be so mad at myself because you're getting up there and I mean, flight training is not cheap. It's very expensive. So you get up there and you feel like you're wasting time and you're getting more and more mad at yourself and things are just snowballing and getting worse. So if there's anything that I can give is just say, hey, calm down. If you do something wrong, reset. You're never going to be a perfect pilot. No one's ever going to be a perfect pilot. And even though some people like to think that they are a perfect pilot and they'll talk to you like they're a perfect pilot, they're not. They make mistakes all the time. I was just trying to show someone a soft field landing the other day, and I
Yeah.
just hit super hard. I was like, "Well, that's not what I wanted to do," but you get the idea. So, like, I mean, even I make mistakes. Like as an instructor, I've got 800 hours, and I still, have a bad landing every now and then. Um, but yeah, so no matter how many bad days you have, don't give up. It's just keep going. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give. I see a lot of people give up on it just because they get frustrated, or it's different. If you have financial burdens, obviously, yeah, flight training is expensive. But if you're, giving up because of maybe like you have a couple bad days,
Yeah.
don't give up for that reason. There's plenty of other reasons to give up for, and that's certainly not one of them. So,
Sweet, man. Well, that's all the questions I have. It was really
yeah,
good
man.
talk. Glad we could
Yeah,
hop.
man. No, thanks for being flexible. Sorry, yeah, I know
Yeah,
days kind of jumbled around there, but
it's
so
fine.
you said you play for state then, right?
Yeah, I played freshman, sophomore, junior year, and then I didn't play this year. But
Gotcha.
just
What position were you?
I was defenseman.
Nice, very cool. Are you playing in
Yeah,
any men's leagues at all?
yeah. I'm playing around. I'm playing with Garrett Arena. I'm sure you do. You've heard his name. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Well, he's
yeah,
one of my
yeah. No,
good
yeah, no,
buddies. I
absolutely.
I play with him out in WCC on
What
Thursdays.
nights you play on Thursday? All right, so you're on
Yeah,
his team out there.
yeah.
No, I'm on what's our team name over there? Not Lucky Bee. Lone Rider.
Lone
So I think
Rider.
we're
Okay,
like
yeah.
last place. Yeah, I think we're last place in the league right now. I keep trying to get on it on the bench and convince all the guys. I'm like, so when are we dropping down to C League? Is it about time?
I'm playing.
So,
I'm playing that. I'm playing a lower B in Cary
mhm.
Gardeners.
Is that the Monday night one?
Yeah, that team's so brutal, but
I was out.
it's fun.
Yeah, I was out on. I was on the one team that just folded maybe a couple seasons ago now. Shamrocks.
Shamrocks, I definitely recognize the name. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no,
fully
I was.
immersed in the beer league world now, so
No, all
I'm
roads lead
loving
to
it.
beer league.
I
All
know.
roads lead to beer league.
Oh
So,
yeah,
are you from the area then?
yeah. I grew up in Raleigh playing
Nice.
Canes.
Where'd you go to high school?
Leesville,
No way. What year?
2021.
Oh boy, that makes me feel old. All right, I was 20. I was 2013 at Leesville.
Holy
Where?
shit!
So like, yeah. Where did you like? Where did you live at?
I live. My parents live off of Leesville Road. Actually, they live.
Off of Leesville Road.
Yeah, in that live on Worley Drive. I don't know if you know where it's at. It's Westlake. It's
What's
the
the
name.
neighborhood?
It's right next to. I'm blanking on. We live in Westlake, but there's that big one like right outside of Leesville. I forget what it's called. Let me. This is gonna kill me. I don't know how I'm forgetting this. I literally live.
No, you're good.
My
What's
neighborhood
the
connects. Springdale.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, okay. I was just about to say, is it Springdale? No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's so I don't live in Springdale, but like my neighborhood connects to it.
I got my first ticket for driving in Springdale's neighborhood.
Oh
So
yeah.
no, I used to because I used to cut through there. I lived in Old Creedmoor out by like Macon Road and
Okay.
like
Yeah.
where yeah, like Ray Road and where like Ray Road and Strickland intersect. Like that's my area. And
Oh,
I would
nice.
take Springdale all the time, like to go into like to just cut to Leesville Road to go to school. And
Yeah.
yeah, one morning I
Oh, that's
blew one of the stop signs in there, and that was my first ticket. So, but no,
small
man,
world.
I know that area
2013.
well.
Do you know a Nicholas Mancini?
Yeah, I know Nick Mancini. Yeah, absolutely. No, we had freshman year English together.
He used to be my neighbor like a while ago. He would babysit me and my brother.
Get out of
He
here,
was
dude.
a
That's so,
he was a wild one. It seems from looking back on it now.
me and Nick used to go to like we didn't really run in the same circle, but we were always at like the same parties together. So
Yeah. Yeah. Damn,
he was
that's
a good dude.
crazy.
He was funny. Yeah, it's funny. Small world, man.
Very small world. But hey, if you I'm at work now, so I'm
Oh, I got you.
probably head back. It's super chill, but if you're trying to ever get in the air, just let me know and I'll go up with you or
Yeah,
yeah, build one.
absolutely. Well, you got my number. Anytime you want to go up or anything, if you ever need an instructor or anything, hit me up. I'm
All right.
around for a little while. All right.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the
Yeah.
talk. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If you ever need anything, let me know.
All right. I'll see you around.
All right. See you, Logan.
See you soon.